and the industry in general is starting to move towards keyless access, as you've seen with everything. Automotive, for example, went away from the keys. Most cars now use fobs, right? So that same theory is going with the indoor locks solutions.
Hey everyone, I am super excited to not only make an announcement, but to also introduce you to David here. So, effective now, right now, we are officially a Compex distributor, stocking and selling all the different types of products. And I have David here with me who works at Compex.
Yep.
David, thank you for taking the time to hop on camera here for a few minutes.
Not a problem, not a problem.
So I'm kind of, curious, and I kind of want to start at the beginning a little bit.
Sure.
So Compex security products, and then you have 4 brands.
Correct.
Underneath it.
Correct. So Compex security products includes 4 different brands: National Cabinet Locks, Timberline, Fort, and Chicago.
Okay. And with that, is that how it started? So Compex is like 100 years old?
Correct. Yeah, National Cabinet Locks is the oldest of the brands, and been around over 100 years now, and services markets including institutional furniture, the post office, all the postal locks you guys may be familiar with is a national product. So and then you've got the Timberline, which is primarily for the office furniture group, and that's kind of what they focus on. And then Fort and Chicago have various other products within them that you might be familiar with, like the tubular locks, like an ACE lock.
Like an ACE.
Correct.
So I'm actually glad you brought that up, because so it starts off, and then you just had one brand. And then you guys purchased other manufacturers. Is that how that worked?
Correct. Yeah. So all of those were individual companies at one point, and then National Cabinet Lock purchased them and then became Compex.
Okay, so National was purchasing these companies.
Correct.
And then kind of formed the umbrella name, so to speak,
Correct.
Compex.
Correct.
Okay. And so a lot of people, if you've ever heard of, ACE lock, right? And they're referring to a tubular lock. That's one of Compex brands. And that's where, sometimes when people are starting out, there's a lot of confusion about that. They're like, why is a ACE lock a tubular lock? Like, why isn't it just called the tubular lock? Well, because of the brand name.
Correct.
Right?
Correct. Yeah. Tubular lock is the type of lock it is. There's another lock that we sell through Fort, which is a gem lock. It's also a tubular lock. So that tubular just refers to the shape of the key itself. It's that round key. Oftentimes you'll see in like a metal box. You might have a tubular lock in a metal box for a key cabinet, that kind of thing. So, but it's just the shape of the key, as opposed to the standard cam lock, which has flat keys. And in the case of most flat keys, they're single-sided. But we also have double-sided keys, ones that you can put in either way.
Sure.
So those are reversible.
Okay. So throughout the years, so you're going through and they were buying all these companies. They formed Compex. At what point, so Compex is a publicly traded company?
It is.
Right?
It is.
And what year-ish did Compex become publicly traded?
Oh gosh, before my time working with them. I mean, it's been 20, 30 years.
It has. Okay, so it was a while ago.
Oh yeah, it's commonly traded. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So not only do you sell like the cam locks and all that different key stuff, more recently Compex has been coming out with electronic versions of those locks.
Right, and the industry in general is starting to move towards keyless access, as you've seen with everything. Automotive, for example, went away from the keys. Most cars now use fobs, right? So that same theory is going with the indoor locks solutions. I mean, keyed locks are still, by and large, the bulk of what's being sold out there. But the industry is moving towards a keyless operation. And so we have several different keyless solutions for your customers.
Okay.
And the industries themselves that are kind of driving that tend to be healthcare related. So the healthcare related keyless locks basically started because of regulations, right? Almost everything is regulatory driven. And in the case of healthcare, it's FDA. And what they're doing is they're locking medication for the most part. And in that case, they need to show evidence of who opened that door or drawer, what time it was, and the date. And so that's what our initial keyless lock, which is called the E-lock, that's where that lock came from. And over time, that's being used throughout the healthcare system, but in a lot of the other applications, they might not be locking up medication. And they're using a lock that has all of different features and functions and capabilities, but they're paying a little bit too much. So what we began developing were other keyless solutions for more just supply-driven. Cabinets.
Yeah, they don't need the audit trail on the cabinet lock, but they still want the convenience of like a push button.
Correct. Exactly. So we have a couple of different products out there, one of them being a stealth lock, which incorporates a transmitter pad, and then the locks or latches themselves can be operated with this transmitter pad. The beauty of that particular lock is that the transmitter pad can open up any number of latches within about a 25-foot radius. So for the example of an exam room, you might have 7, 10, 12 cabinet doors and drawers in that room. You can program them all to be on the same code and utilize the transmitter pad, say at the light switch. When the nurse comes in, she hits the code and they open up all of the cabinets at once. So it gives them the benefit of a keyless solution. It also gives her the ease of opening everything at once. And then it can also be programmed to auto lock, so to automatically lock. So that is a lot of the drive for keyless solutions.
Yeah, I think it's really great to see the progression from just your standard locks into what you're doing, what Compex does now.
Right.
And it really offers kind of start to finish with your different brands. Like if you think of a cabinet type lock situation, Compex is going to have something that's going to work.
We will have a solution.
Yeah.
From suits to nuts, from the most basic cam lock, your national cam lock, C8053, all the way up to an E-lock that would be Wi-Fi capable and could even have temperature monitoring to it, right? So anything in between.
So I want to talk to you about a couple questions to do with manufacturing and that kind of stuff. So I don't know exactly how much you can say or not say, so I'll just ask and
I'll tell you everything.
Okay.
No secrets here.
So Compex is a manufacturer, and what I mean by that is like it's this common thing nowadays where some companies, everybody thinks makes the products, but in reality, they're just getting containers from overseas and putting them in their bag.
That's
essentially
absolutely right.
Does Compex do that, or is Compex an actual manufacturer?
We actually make everything in the United States, so we're 100% United States based.
Even the cam locks?
Everything. All the way down to the castings on the locks themselves. So we have 3 facilities. The main facility for national is out of Malden, South Carolina. We have the electronics division, which is out of Grays Lake, Illinois. They also do the Timberline, which tends to be more office furniture. And then we have a facility out in Rancho Cucamonga. But in those facilities, we do the manufacturing from the very beginning to the end. So we do our own castings, we do our own platings, we do our own powder coating. We do everything together. So that's why we have complete control. We have full engineering facilities there. So depending on your project size, if you don't see something that's available, by all means contact us, because we may have already done it, or if the opportunity is presented to us, we could make something for you. So we have all of those capabilities.
Wow. So here we are, 2021, Compex manufacturing cam locks and all your stuff here in the USA.
Yeah, and actually, with what's been going on in 2020 and the limitations for stuff coming overseas, we're actually getting a lot more people buying domestically. They're pulling back in because they've been stuck with shipping issues. Things are on a container. It might just be stuck in port, but they just can't get it to their customers in time. So it's worth it to them to pay maybe a little bit more money, but to know that the product's going to be there in time.
Well, and that's the thing that kind of surprises me a little bit, because from my perspective of buying other cam locks and that sort of stuff, and now buying Compex, the pricing, like I don't see this like dramatic price difference between the different imported ones and the Compex. So that's amazing.
It is, and there isn't a big difference, but what there was, as far as a difference, people took a risk and they've learned their lessons essentially because quite honestly, a lot of our products are used. You might have a $5 product, a $5 lock going into a $10,000 job. Yeah. But if you can't ship that job because of a $5 lock, how much money did you save?
That's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a very good point. Now, I want to ask you another question, and thank you for that. That's good stuff. When it comes to like OEM type of business, like I'm under the impression that Compex is a major OEM supplier out there.
Correct.
To other locks. Like, are you able to kind of talk at all about some of those who those companies are?
Yeah, we're an OEM supplier for our largest customer is the U.S. Postal Service. So we do all the cluster box locks, all the 9100, 9200. Yeah, on average, we're doing 40,000 locks a week for the USPS. So all of those lock boxes are our locks. Okay. We also have the contract throughout Canada, so all Canadian Post are all locks as well. But some of the other industries that we're in, we supply the ignition switches and the saddleback locks for Harley Davidson. We do all of the T-handles and all of the locks in Coke, Pepsi, Vendo, all the vending machines as well. So we're in any number of industries. We do all of the dispensers for gas stations, all the gas station pumps. The locks on those are our locks.
File cabinet locks?
Correct, yeah. So like Hahn is a big manufacturer that we supply their locks. So there's many office furnitures. Kiwani, another big technical furniture company out there that we supply all of their locks. So we do that. We do quite a few OEMs, and then we also, like yourself, we handle with distribution as well, because those products will end up in your customer, and then when they need to change out the locks, for example, either they've lost the keys or they just want to change the key codes, they're actively looking for, how do I change out these locks?
Sure.
And a lot of times the manufacturers, quite honestly, don't want to deal with lock situations, getting extra keys, that kind of thing. So that's where your company would come in.
Sure. Absolutely. Well, that is great, David. I mean, that's a lot of information. I mean, on the surface, you know, a lot of people might know of Compex, but when you really start to break it down into those 4 different brands and the OEM volume, I never knew that the Compex was making the Harley ignitions.
Yep.
Never knew. And keys, do you guys sell keys? Can you sell keys to us?
Those would go through Harley.
Okay.
So a lot of times, even though we're supplying it to an OEM, you still have to go through the OEM to purchase those types of items.
So I guess sorry. I mean, hey, I tried. Okay, I tried.
Well, and it's not a bad question, because over time, oftentimes an OEM like a Hahn will not want to deal with single keys, the selling of keys or the selling of a core, that kind of thing. And so those types of products may be available. So keep in mind checking the website often, because those things might come up.
Okay.
So
very good. Well, hey, thank you for coming up here to Idaho.
Yeah, no
hanging
problem.
out for a little bit.
Yeah, enjoying it.
I'm really excited to start stocking and selling the CompX line. So
Absolutely. We're looking forward to your business.
thank you. And everybody, thank you for watching. I'm really curious if you learned anything or did you know all of this? In the comments below, tell us what you thought. Did you know this? Did you not? And make sure you also include the hashtag LockBoss to be automatically entered in to win one of 5 prizes that we give away every Tuesday. David, thanks again for coming on.
Thank you.
Everybody, thank you for watching. And we'll see you next time.